Hi, I'm Martina Nankavel, a psychiatric physician assistant, ADHD and expert and coach, here to help you self-sabotage less. So today we're going to talk about self-sabotage. We don't really like to think about the fact that we might self-sabotage, but subconsciously everyone does to some extent. But ADHDers, we tend to more often than not. Why is that the case? Why maybe we subconsciously self-sabotage? Well, we often have more difficulty with executive dysfunction, starting, finishing things, breaking things down into small tasks that are manageable. Also, we have more emotional dysregulation oftentimes, meaning our emotions go high and low, might go extreme quickly. We might want to throw in the towel quicker, or say things we don't want to say but we're impulsive when we say it. So we self-sabotage in regards to potential relationships. We self-sabotage in regards to work, starting, finishing things, putting our best foot forward, and it's a problem. Another way we self-sabotage at times is we're dopamine seeking. ADHDers have low levels of dopamine, or we don't use our dopamine as well as others, so we consciously, subconsciously seek out tendencies and habits that will increase our dopamine. And unfortunately, if things are going too smoothly or too boring or stable, we might seek out an argument subconsciously, or we might seek out change or quit something because it's boring, and that might produce dopamine. So subconsciously we're doing it because we want that dopamine hit or kick, but it's not doing the best in the long term for relationships, for jobs, for stability, for finances. So today we're going to look at a few examples of what self-sabotage can look like, and then talk about 5 tried or true techniques of what we can do to decrease self-sabotage. So 2 examples of what self-sabotage can look like. It can look like so many more things, but just 2 examples for today. So Sarah starts a job. She's really excited, she's gung-ho, she's motivated for this job. But once Sarah gets the job, she starts self-doubting, she doesn't put her best foot forward, she starts work too late, and she ends up quitting the job before showing her true potential or really getting into the swing of things, because she's worried that they're going to find out that she's not good enough or fake. Oftentimes ADHDers, we've had a lot of failure or letdowns through life, so we have a lot of guilt or shame, or we feel like we're not good enough, so maybe we subconsciously self-sabotage where we don't actually put our best foot forward in the first place, and then we quit early or we get fired early, and then we say, oh, well, I'm a failure anyway. Look at me, I can't hold this job, or I'm not good at it. But in reality, we're just self-sabotaging from learned things from the past or scared of what could happen. Another example is Emily's in a relationship. Things are going really well. She's happy with her partner and the relationship is stable. But things get too stable or boring, so she subconsciously will trigger arguments or get in fights to subconsciously increase that dopamine level, because arguments and fights increase dopamine, which is what ADHDers seek. And in turn, we're self-sabotaging potentially really good relationships, potentially ruining them, or just putting them in not stable places. So those are 2 examples of what self-sabotage can look like. All right, so let's go through 5 tried and true techniques that will work for you to help decrease self-sabotage. Number 1, straightforward and basic. Before you want to be impulsive or make big decisions, or if you're impulsive or irritable, frustrated, angry, things are going too smoothly, you want to make a big decision, easy first, number 1 thing to do is wait 24 hours. Sleep on it, think about it, reflect about it, pray about it, and see, is this a smart decision for my relationship, for my job, for my career, for my goals in life? Before we make a decision, the 24-hour rule will be your friend. Number 2 is think of the minimal viable day. So ADHDers, we're not going to be 100% effective and efficient and productive every day. That's just unrealistic for everyone and unrealistic for our brain. So instead of wanting to throw in the towel when we get irritable, frustrated, overwhelmed, angry, sad, any emotion, or anytime we want to throw in the towel and be enough's enough, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to scroll on social media for the rest of the day, I'm just going to binge watch YouTube videos in bed and eat snacks, or do whatever ADHDers or everyone does when they throw in the towel. Instead, we should create ahead of time a minimal viable productive day. So instead of saying, okay, instead of doing nothing the rest of the day or giving up, throwing in the towel on this project, on this whatever, I'm gonna do at least this minimum for the day in these areas, so that my whole day isn't a waste, so that I'm not having more self-shame, more self-doubt, more putting myself down, look at myself, I'm a failure yet again. So by creating a minimal viable day, We won't be feeling like we're a failure. We won't feel the self-shame. We won't be like, oh, I'm just throwing in the towel, not getting anything done. At least I'm getting X, Y, and Z done. At least instead of working on this project 2 hours in time blocks, maybe I'm going to work on it half an hour for today. Maybe instead of cleaning all the house, I'm just going to clean this room. Maybe I'm just going to meal prep this. Maybe I'm just going to do this thank you card on my list of 20 thank you cards I need to do for the birthday party or the wedding. What is a minimal viable day for you so that we can still get stuff done, still feel good about ourselves, and get in the habit of not completely throwing in the towel because of whatever is happening, not self-sabotage in that way, but still do things that are important and get us to our goals. All right, number 3 on the list is name that emotion. What does that entail? So name that emotion means when we're feeling big feelings and feeling impulsive, feeling that we maybe want to do something that might be a bad decision or wreak havoc on our goals, relationships, finances, then we want to name that emotion. So stop and say, with a neutral stance, with a neutral posture on yourself, not with self-shame, say, right now I'm feeling sad, depressed, angry, irritable, isolated, ecstatic, happy, impulsive. Try to name that emotion. Oftentimes by naming it and acknowledging it and sitting in that motion, it kind of helps you just reflect and then kind of ground yourself and be like, do I want to act on that? Or is that an emotion I can feel and I feel that emotion and let it go and then continue on with my day. Oftentimes, if you wait 90 seconds, that impulsivity, desire, or drive will flow and go on its way, and you won't act impulsively. You won't throw in the towel. You won't quit your job. You might not quit a relationship. You might not do something you regret if you name the emotion and wait 90 seconds. All right, number 4 is progress tracking. I really like this one because I find it helpful and so do my clients. So that just means that when you want to throw in the towel or feel overwhelmed or say, this isn't doing anything, this isn't getting me anywhere, I'm overwhelmed and discouraged, this means that you're giving yourself visual cues of progress you have made towards your goals and aspirations. So put up something physical that you can see and say, okay, my goal is X, Y, and Z, I'm not there yet. But what are the small things you have accomplished? What markers have you hit so that when you want to throw in the towel, feel overwhelmed? Give yourself a pity party. Say, well, let me look at my progress. I made visual progress and say, wow, I've done this, this, and this. Wow, okay, well, I'm not here, but I've done these things. That can be really helpful to prevent self-sabotage. The last one, number 5 for today, is create a prevention plan. So ahead of time, when you're in a good headspace, write out things that you think would be helpful for you to prevent self-sabotage. For everyone, it's going to be different. So what this tool or technique can look like is writing out the list ahead of time. So maybe when I feel like I'm going to be impulsive, maybe baking these chocolate chip cookies will help kind of derail those impulsive thoughts or those self-sabotage. Maybe painting my nails, maybe going to the special tea house and getting a special tea that you really like or coffee that you really like. Something small that will help you kind of push that self-sabotage desire out of the way, but you got to write it ahead of time, right? Because when we're in the moment, all we can think of is quitting that job or ending that relationship or saying something harsh or subconsciously self-sabotaging. So we have to have it planned ahead of time so that you can easily be like, okay, I have that prevention plan. Here it is. Let me pull it out. It's on my phone or written down easily and say, okay, I feel like X, Y, and Z, but I know that's not my best intention. Let me pick something from my plan. Even if that doesn't sound fun or you don't want to do it in the moment, force yourself to do something you wrote on that prevention plan, because that's what you wrote when your headspace was in a better place to help set up yourself for success in these situations when you want to subconsciously self-sabotage or act on impulses that you probably know aren't in your best interest. So at the end of the day, self-sabotage is a concern and an issue for everyone, especially ADHDers, for the reasons we talked about today. And I don't want you to be stuck in this. I don't want to be stuck in this. So which of these 5 techniques could you start implementing today to help decrease subconscious self-sabotage? Thank you.